So pretty much, TREYARCH has put out a tweet on Twitter talking about weapon tuning. Tuning doesn't necessarily always mean nerf. It could also mean buff. But the things that are included is LC10, 74U, MAC-10, KSP, Milano, Krieg, FFAR, Groza, Magnums, 1911, RPG, LMGs, because they said LMG adjustments, and then the launchers are going to be buffed against Flak Jacket and Hardcore, and then it says plus more. Plus more could mean anything. They could be talking about more guns, they could be talking about more adjustments to launchers or something, who knows, but I'm just going to quickly talk about what I think is going to happen. The LC10. I love this gun. It's so good. This thing is getting nerfed. I strongly believe that it's going to get nerfed. I feel like they are going to definitely nerf its effective damage range since it's 25, and if we take off this and we check this, this has a 45, which is still good, but for an SMG, 25 is a lot. And that's with a barrel on it, so it actually has 21. So 25 with the reinforced heavy makes it, well, it'll be 25 with the reinforced heavy barrel. If we check the AK, 95, that's because I obviously have this barrel on, but if I take this barrel off, it has 38. So, and then if we check the MP5 without a barrel on it, 7 at base, and the LC10 is 21 at base. But I obviously run Task Force, so it has a lot of recoil, but yeah, 21 is a lot. So I feel like that's going to get an effective damage range nerf, and I also feel like they are going to nerf, I feel like the recoil is going to get upped, or bumped, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. So I feel like this gun is going to be not as good as it was, or as it is now. I feel like that it's not going to get ultimately destroyed, but I feel like that it is going to be hurt pretty bad. So next, 74U. This thing is going to get destroyed, in my opinion. I feel like that they're going to make big changes to this, but also it is TREYARCH, so I don't expect much. It has a 38 damage. That is how much damage it does, 38. You know what else does 38 damage? The AK-47. It does the same damage as the AK-47. An SMG. Damage, feel like just needs to be bumped down a little bit. Just a little bit. Effective damage range needs to be bumped down just a little bit. It will be fine then. I'll be okay with it then. That's pretty much it I have for the 74U. The MAC-10, I don't really feel like they need to make changes to the MAC-10. I know a lot of people disagree with me about this. But if you think about it, the MAC-10 is like 27 damage, has a ton of recoil, so you got to learn to control recoil. I feel like the only thing that does need to be nerfed a little bit is effective damage range, because 11 is quite high for an SMG that, you know, looks like this. But just a little bit of that, and then I don't think it's going to get a buff, but yeah, that's what I think about the MAC-10. I think it's pretty much fine. Next, the KSP. In my opinion, the KSP needs to be nerfed. Anybody can think that it needs to be buffed, go ahead. It does 50 damage. That's a 3. You hit all 3 bursts, you're dead. That's simple. It's an SMG, and it can 3 burst you. And people might be like, oh, it has no range. 15 effective damage range. That's pretty good. And think about it. You put the rifled on it, 19. Like, you can make this thing just like an AR. It is just all the burst I have so much against, because I hate how they can just 3-shot you. It doesn't even put you up for a fight. So that's like a little bit annoying to me, but it is what it is. The Milano is next. The Milano, I'm confused about. Because the Milano is a good gun, and it gets hated on so bad because it is a good gun. And I don't really know why people hate on it so much, because it's just, truthfully, it's not as good as the other SMGs. That's obvious. But it's still good. I used it for a long time. It is good. So I feel like that this might be getting a buff, might be getting a nerf, but they do tend to buff guns that nobody uses. So that could go either way. It just kind of depends how you feel about it, but at the end, you know, Treyarch makes a decision. So the Krig, I love the Krig, but it's getting nerfed. There's no doubt about that. I definitely feel like that the Krig is going to get nerfed. Its time to kill is just insane. It is so good. It's just, I would hate to see this thing get nerfed, but I truthfully think that it's going to. Another thing that I'm surprised that's not on this list is the XM4, but it does say plus more. The XM4 is the best AR. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best AR. It kills so quickly, but we're talking about the Krig. I think this thing is going to get nerfed just a little bit. I don't know how, but I definitely feel like it's going to get nerfed. And Treyarch did say something about a recoil pass on all, a recoil pass on attachments for ARs and SMGs, so that's just could mean anything because it's Treyarch. But next we have the FFAR. This could go either way. It could get buffed, it could get nerfed. It does have a lot of recoil. I mean, just look at it, 330 for recoil control. And if we look at the AK, just a base AK, I mean, it's like 405. Like, you have a lot more control on the AK than you do on the FAR. But this could go either way. It could get a buff, could get a nerf, because it is very close to kill up close. So that could really go either way. A gun that is like never used, and honestly that I've never used in multiplayer, the Groza. The Groza. I believe that the Groza is going to get buffed because nobody uses it. But it is super good. Like, if you do go into a game, use the Groza, it's good. It is very good. So I feel like that this is going to get a buff just a little bit in effective damage range, maybe bullet velocity a little bit, I don't really know. Maybe a little bit of a recoil buff. Who knows what they're going to do with this thing, but I do believe that it's going to get buffed. Alright, next, the Magnum. The Magnum is getting nerfed. 75 damage, which is okay because it's a Magnum, but it's only going to be because of the dual wields. I do believe that this thing is going to get nerfed. They're going to nerf effective damage range. That's what I feel like, because it has a 25. It has a better effective damage range than any of the SMGs, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the LC-10 has the best. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but yeah. So I feel like it's going to get effective damage range nerf. Next, we have the 1911, the OG 1911. This thing is getting buffed. Simply because nobody uses it. In my opinion, I think it's going to get buffed, but it also could get nerfed at the same time. Effective damage range is really good. Like, really, really good. And nobody uses them, though. But they are good. If you dual wield these things, they're good. Like, I used to actually not even dual wield them. Like, back when I didn't want to use the Diamatis, the dual wield Diamatis. Now I use a Street Sweeper because I'm a corn like that. But, you know, this could go either way. I do believe it's going to get buffed, though. So, next on the list leads us to the RPG. Nothing to say about it. They're just going to, you know, they're going to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit better, because, you know, they do hit marker, if nobody knew that. So, that, you know, I think is going to get a buff. Now, the discussion that I've wanted to see forever from Treyarch, LMGs. These things are downship broken. They're ridiculous. I do feel like the LMGs are going to get nerfed, and bad, because their effective damage range is insane. All of them are a 3-shot. Their damage is high as shit. What is the damage on the stoner? 42. I get it, they're supposed to have high damage, but effective damage range and time to kill is insane. It is insane. And the stoner has no recoil. It has a little bit, just a little bit, but not a lot. Like once you fully build it, it has like nothing. So that's what I feel about that. They did say that they were going to release the patch notes on Monday, which is March 29th. So we're going to have to see what comes then. But truthfully, that's what I feel about all those weapons. And I know they're going to be adding Miami Strike at some point, which actually looks like a really good map. But that's all I got to say about this. So I'm hoping that I'm right about these things, because I would like to see some diversity in this game, because most of it is just LMGs, you know, one-shot guns. But that's also going to bring me back. Why is the M16 and AUG not on this list? They're 3-shots, but that could be a part of the plus more. So we'll see on Monday what happens. And yeah, hopefully they nerf some stuff.